was something I'd never heard before, and it really opened the door to a lot of things.
It opened to me the world of poetry, maybe. It's just like I took the small words out of time. I passed a cow and the cow was brown and my pajamas clung to me like a shroud. And that was just like, wow.
It's like the Reverend Nick is telling you this fantastic story, and it ends with a female vocal which sounds like it's straight out of Oh Brother Where Art Thou, the Coen Brothers film.
It's the combination, if I say this name right, the McGarrigle sisters and Nick's voice. It's just a combination made in heaven.
I think the thing about the McGarrigles is that the sound of their voices is quite different from a lot of other female voices. I mean, they really don't have any foundations in kind of rock. There's no rock or really kind of pop tradition. It's kind of a pure folk sound, and so for the Bad Seeds to bring that sound in, it's like bringing in a whole lot of kind of ancient wisdom into the proceedings.
It just lifts that song above it just makes it something that's really, really special.
The sound that they make together, because they're two sisters, there's a kind of, it's two people becoming one, and it becomes a whole other worldly sound. It's something beyond just a kind of a single person's voice. And it's something that you could try by multi-tracking vocals, but I'm sure that when they recorded the backing vocals on that album, they just recorded it, the two of them singing together.
They came in and they had a really good time singing. I'm not sure they quite got what it was that they were asked to do some of the time, but they just sang with Nick. Nick was in the studio with them, trying to guide them and trying to show them what he wanted, and he achieved that really well.
The main thing is to serve the song really and do what at the time is considered the best that can be done for the song. I mean, that's what we're in there to do.
Out of all of the people I've ever recorded, they certainly are the quickest band in the studio. They like to come in and record straight away.
There's not a lot of time wasting with the recording. I mean, it moves along with a very brisk pace, like, crack of the whip kind of thing.
As someone who's working with them, you have to be ready to literally press record as soon as they walk into the room.
I first met Nick when he asked me to play a show with him at the South Bank Center that was meant to be a lecture about the love song. I think it was called The Secret Life of the Love Song.
I'm a big fan of a lot of the ballads. A lot of the love songs I just find, they move me.
And there was one song that he really wanted to play, which hadn't been recorded yet. And we met upstairs in the mute offices, and there was a rickety old piano in the hallway. And he sat down and played Love Letter for me on this kind of sad, out-of-tune piano stuck in the hallway in the back of mute. And I was completely stunned by how beautiful it was.
And I started playing my 7-year-old son some stuff last night. And this morning, Love Letter I played to him this morning. He said, I don't like love songs. And then you should have seen his reaction to this song. And he knows Nick, but I've never really pushed the kind of the music stuff or the music, he knows Nick plays in a band. But, he was really taken by the music.
He wrote it in Lissard, which is a place in Ireland just outside of Skibbereen. And in the end, we ended up playing at a music festival there a year or two later. And my husband and I ended up buying a house nearby. So right now I live 10 minutes away from where he wrote it and think about it every time I drive by.
All right, here's a guy, he fucked up. The girl's not talking to him. So what does he do? He's gonna go write a letter.
It's quite brilliant because he's writing the letter and then he's putting all of his faith in the letter, actually delivering the message.
It was so clever for Nick to think about writing a song about a love letter. I know he had mentioned being an ardent writer of love letters in that that lecture he did. And he also, there are other references to love letters, but here the love letter becomes a central character of the song.
The words have almost become the writer's friends, and he knows that he's dependent on them, but he doesn't begrudge them that. And he's sending them out into the world or to his beloved, charged with this urgent mission and urging them to do their best, and knowing that his fate really is in their hands.
And then he, starts doing this magical rites. I mean, he kisses the cold white envelope. He, presses her lips. He presses his lips against her name. 200 words. I mean, that's great writing.
Sometimes the rhymes that are themselves a joke, a surprise, you have to just get them on the right side of the wince. So, love letter, go getter. It's, in a way, it's perfect.
I mean, it's like the egging on the letter, go get her. I mean, it's like this guy is even the most pathetic guy you've ever seen in your life. Or, he's just got a wounded heart, and he's open-hearted, and he's the kind of person that, you want to get to know and hang out with. So, it's great that it works on so many levels, that song.
I really like the love letter video, I know it's not a kind of like, a big number in the way that 15 Feet Pure White Snow or Babe I'm on Fire or, one of those great kind of big, almost comedy videos. But there's just something about the kind of simple elegance of that video. I just think, a song that's so kind of on its sleeve, like that's so close to the edge of something really quite icky and wrong and just, painfully sickly. I think to make a video that doesn't either collapse further into the sort of sentimentality of the song and doesn't completely react against it in order to kind of balance it out, but manages to sit somewhere in just the right space. It's pretty good. It's an amazing video.
The best music video ever made is for a song on this record. 15 Feet of Pure White Snow is just the most fantastic, unexpected, surreal kind of visual rendering of it I've ever seen.
It's the best video ever made. Without a doubt. It's so simple and it's so striking and it's like really visual and it's just like, all these old men like line dancing.
Yeah, John did a video of that and was so funny. We got Jason Donovan in to dance.
Actually, Nick and I personally feel he kind of stole the show on that one.
And I think it had Jarvis Cocker and Noah Taylor and all these people dancing.
It was just trying to basically have the contrast of this kind of party in a decaying part of Eastern Europe that would suddenly snap into synchronized dancing. But of course people were, they're getting a little bit, as the shoot went on, a little bit drunk, and the synchronized dancing got more and more. I mean, it was great because we didn't want it precise. We did try and make it as precise as possible. If anyone watches it carefully, Blitzer really struggles.
They're all a bit daggy, the band, and they all do this little funny dance in that video, and it's just great.
Actually, the whole time I was playing Marvin Gaye live at the live show in London with the forget the track, but anyway, it's a fantastic 11-minute long dance Marvin soul song. So everyone was dancing to that.
And my kids love it as well. So I've got 3 small daughters, and my 6-year-old and my 4-year-old love that record. So never let it be said that Nick Cave doesn't make music that's appropriate for children, because he absolutely does. I think for a lot of reasons. I mean, not only are they Catholic, so they're quite drawn to all the hallelujahs. But I think they're also quite intrigued as to what this deep-voiced, sad man is banging on about.
The dropping in of God is in the house is kind of railing against fundamentalism and against kind of self-righteousness and do-goodism, and it's just got this wonderful place in the album.
I remember hearing that, and he does it a lot in his music, whereas it's just the piano, it's the beginning, it's stark and it's very spare and minimal, and it's the most beautiful thing, and it's what brings you first. It hooks you into the song.
The thing that amused me about the song when I first heard it was the idea and the belief that some people who were exactly the targets of the song would listen to the song and love it because they would think it was applauding that kind of mindset.
It's really easy to attack a target full on and to be aggressive, and you never hit your target then, and you just tend to piss people off. And if you sidle up to it sideways and you use humour and poke fun at something, that's the best way to beat the devil, is to just kind of show him his reflection and laugh at him.
A lot of people go, is it religious? Is it, is it political? And therefore, that kind of questioning thing, it's a great kind of skill as a writer, that you can make a song enigmatic, yet it also connects with people straight away, so they feel something for the song, but they're still going, but what does that mean?
That to me was such a kind of reference to George Bush's kind of blindness, and whether you call the White House the house, or I had all these kind of undertones and inferences were in there for me. Whether they were written in there, as it were, or whether Nick saw them is actually beside the point, because that's what you get out of anything, is what you get out of it, regardless of the creator's intent.
It's a very open song. It's, you feel very personally, you can connect with it.
They just talk to you as if I'm talking to you, just you and me here, and in a gentle kind of way, but the words go right through you.
Homos roaming the streets in packs, queer bashers with tire jacks, lesbian counterattacks. That stuff is for the big cities.
And just as the song goes on, incrementally, they're revealed to be more and more racist and right-wing and uptight, and what they won't stand for and what they don't have in their town, and how they reveal themselves to be the most despicable human beings by what they don't agree with and tolerate.
Of all the rhyming couplets in the Nick Cave canon, I just can't get past "We've bred all our kittens white so you can see them in the night."
And at that line, everybody through nervousness usually laughs.
I don't know why that tickles me so much.
And by the end, it's the most vicious attack on fundamental religion of any sort, and hilariously funny at the same time. It's a great piece of writing.
Nick Cave is a master of that black humour. The only other place I can think of where you get completely out of context humour like that is in a Harold Pinter play or something like that.